What's up, Never Torpid fam, YouTube fam? Dragonflight is here. Christmas came early. Farrell is looking like Santa made it himself, guys. Before we go any further, please listen to this. Dragonflight just came out. I'm going to give you a foundation, a starting point, a strong core to Farrell, but things are going to change. You're going to learn things. I'm going to learn things over the next week, the first beginning of the season, the first week, the second week. So please, as things change, come by the stream at twitch.tv/torpid. Let me know. But the ferocious bites are critting. The mobility is still insane. And the sneaky bleeds that make Feral so enjoyable are working. And I'm going to show you why, how to get set up, and why you should get started playing Feral in Dragonflight before a good thing is gone, because it is insane, guys. Let's get started. Alright, guys, let's go through our stat priority, which leads to the gear we're going to select. Now, with Feral, Mastery is never read so much better than this. Increases the damage done by your cat form, bleed abilities, and finishing moves. Your ferocious bites being the finishers, hitting for 90 to in the hundreds of Ks, to the bleeds, the reason we're here, being stronger. So with your honor gear, you're going to take all the pieces that have mastery first. The second piece that comes with that is crit or haste. Now, these ferocious bites during your burst windows with the abilities I'm going to show you, you don't need that extra haste. There's a talent that gives us an insane amount of haste on our bleeds, and we have enough energy regen to smash those ferocious bites. So once you've capped out on your mastery, you're going to want to go critical strike. So the mastery is increasing the ferocious bites and the bleeds, and the crit is making those bleeds that crit the feral frenzies and the ferocious bites insane. And I do think when the Conquest gear comes out, we're going to want a little bit more haste than 2%. We want our Cyclones to be a little faster. We want our Glows to be a little faster. But until then, leveling in the Battlegrounds with this fun build I'm going to show you, you're going to want to prioritize Mastery, Critical Strike, and then Haste. And with the new PvP gear, Versus included on everything. What's up, everybody? We're down here. We're moving the camera around. We're trying to get you the best angle. Talent trees are back. It's exciting. There's a lot of customization, and something new is you can get my talent trees by just going down below in the description, copying the link of a bunch of numbers and letters, going to your talents on World of Warcraft, pressing the import button down here, pasting it in. It'll look something like this, and then you put Torpids, Feral Starter, something like that, and import them. I'm going to talk about these talents and these abilities in the next segment here when we go through the offensive talents and the defensive talents and everything that I'm doing right now to have an absolute blast while being absolutely strong in Battlegrounds. So quickly, you'll see I didn't take Cyclone. I know, guys, Cyclone is Feral's largest CC outside of its stuns, but you're playing a Battleground. You're not really CCing too many people right now. It's kind of just a fest of everybody learning their classes and their offensives and their rotations and testing things out, and you're not really stopping for a clone. But we will make an adjustment to have clone later on. You'll notice that I took Renewal and Well-Known Instincts. These are two survivabilities because you don't have a pocket healer all the time in Battlegrounds. Once you have a pocket healer, we'll be able to change this around to get down to the Cyclone. So we have the CC and our healer has our back in the arena. But for the Battleground, trust me, this is a strong core to start. And then, like I said, I want you guys to make it different. Make whatever you want and come tell me about it in the stream. All right, guys, really quickly before we get to the offensive and defensives, really the meat of the video and why Feral with the proper setup is so strong right now, I just want to walk everybody through cat form and the basic knowledge of Feral that might be picking it up for the first time a couple weeks from now, or maybe as an alt during the start of Dragonflight. Feral revolves around combo points and energy. Feral has generating abilities that cost energy and generate combo points, and then they have spenders, which cost no energy but takes away the combo points. I'm going to walk you through these 6 spells and these offensives because that's going to really be the core of Druid. All the other abilities on my screen that are down here are basic heals and basic defensives that you guys will be able to pick up. Right? Survival Instincts reduces all damage you take. You're going to understand that fully. Let's go through spending energy and generating combo points and then using those combo points. So, a typical open is Prowl And then the first ability we're going to talk about quickly is Rake, which is going to do damage, stun the target, and then apply a bleed for more damage over time. And you're going to use the Rake from stealth, and then you're always going to want to press Rake when it's about to expire to keep Rake on them as long as you can. But once your Rake is on them already, you're going to use Shred as the other generator for combo points because the Shred base damage is stronger than Rake. And then this is your talent. This is an extremely strong Feral Frenzy ability. And what that's going to do is generate 5 combo points for you and put a bleed on them. But this is a 45-second cooldown, so let's focus on these 2 generators and these 3 spenders. So I'm going to go ahead and Rake them, which is going to stun the target, put the bleed on them, and generate 2 combo points. Like I said, once the bleed is on them, you're going to shred them to 5 combo points. And now once you have 5 combo points, you have the option of these 3 abilities. Rip, which is another bleed. Maim, which will convert your combo points into stun. The more combo points, the longer the stun, as you can see at the bottom right. And Ferocious Bite, which converts your combo points into max damage. So typically what you're going to want to do is Rake the target. Once you have 5 combo points, you rip the target. Now I have a 17-second bleed. And while that bleed's happening, I'll Feral Frenzy them. You'll see that adds this bleed. Gives us 5 combo points. I'm going to make sure my Rake is on them. And then I'm going to Ferocious Bite. So the idea is to always have a Rake, a Rip, and then when Feral Frenzy is up, have that on them as well. And Ferocious Bite for the largest Ferocious Bite. You can also rip the target at 3 combo points, 2 combo points, or 1. The damage of Rip isn't increased at 5 stacks. It's just that the bleed will last longer. So what we're going to do is put the Rip, the Rake on them, cast Shred to 5 stacks, and then again, like I said, Ferocious Bite, 34k. So, generating abilities, your spenders, and then these 3 abilities, Incarn, we're going to talk about in the next segment, is going to increase a lot of your damage, a lot of your regen, and allow you to do some cool things. Tiger's Fury is a flat 27% damage increase. So ideally, we're always going to Tiger's Fury when using these abilities, especially during our big go. An Adaptive Swarm is a damage over time effect you put on them that increases the damage of all your other bleeds. So typically, we're going to start in stealth. We're going to start in Prowl when I get out of combat here. I'm going to press Incarn and Tiger's Fury, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up with a Rake to stun them, then an Adaptive Swarm, and then a 2-point Rip is fine. Then a Feral Frenzy to add all our bleeds are on, and then a boom, a Ferocious Bite, and then a Shred. Rip fell off, we're going to add a Rip. Rake fell off, we're going to add another Rip. Then we're going to Shred, and then Ferocious Bite. So that might have been a little bit blurry vocally, but you should be able to understand the concept of using your generators, your spenders, your offensives, and your stealth, and that will give you everything you need to use in cat form. When you're in human form, you just have to use your healing, so a rejuvenation, a swiftmend, and a regrowth, all very easy to understand. When you go bear form, you naturally become more tanky and increase armor, and your main ability is Frenzied Regen, which will heal you for 32% of your health. And then you're able to go to a travel form outside that increases your movement speed, really good for Battlegrounds, and has a leap. And really, that's the basics of Druid. Once you combine that knowledge of the generators, the spenders, the offensives, the stealth, give yourself a read on these abilities. I really think you don't need me to go through these. We're not going to waste too much time. Barkskin, 20% wall. Survival Instincts, 50% wall. Renewal heals us for 30%. These are just abilities you press and they do things. It's easy to understand. Just wanted to cover the generators, the spenders, the combo points, and the energy. And now we're going to go through everything at once. So let's get into it. All right. The time has come. Why is Feral Druid absolutely cranking? How is it happening? How are people being globaled How are people being out-sustained? How are people being bled to death and bit to death? Let's get into it. First things first. Make sure, again, you have my talents copied exactly. Every talent point makes a difference. First thing I want to talk about are the main reasons that Feral's cranking. Number one, Feral Frenzy. Unleashes a Furious Frenzy, clawing your target 5 times, so generating 5 combo points for us, and then doing massive bleed damage over time. Number 2, Adaptive Swarm being put on the enemy to increase the damage of our bleeds by 25%. So a 25% increase in damage for our bleeds. Feral Frenzy being an insane bleed, and we'll look at the breakdown. And then on top of the 25% damage, with Circle Life and Death, our bleeds are ticking 25% faster. So we're circling in on our damage, and instead of it coming in slowly, it's coming in fast, and it's creating a burst window like never seen before. And an insanely important part, number 4 here, Berserk Frenzy. During Incarnation, so while we have our Incarn going, it's going to use our combo point generating abilities and bleed the target for 125% additional of theirs. So we're getting another 8-second bleed for 125% of the damage we're doing with our combo point generators. And then Incarn, improved Incarn is 30 seconds of Incarn. Energy reduction, the ability to prowl, and our finishing moves generating combo points back to letting us use more ferocious bites and rips. So when you combine Feral Frenzy, Adaptive Swarm, Berserk Frenzy, Incarn, and Circle of Life and Death, you get an absolute monster. And now, of course, this is paired with some other minor abilities. Tiger's Fury, not a minor ability, but one you guys will know about, increasing the damage by 27%. And everything in between, you guys can give it a little quick read. But those are the main things, and I'm going to show you those in action right now. Alright, so now that we know about our 5 insanely maybe broken Blizzard, maybe if you're a Blizzard employee, they're not that broken, so maybe don't get rid of them. Now that we know about those abilities, I recorded myself doing damage to the training dummy. Now, I didn't do this 500 times to give you guys the one where I crit the highest, but what I want to do is show you. I set a stopwatch to pair with the Incarn for 30 seconds. We're going to look at the damage done in over 30 seconds, and I'm going to break it down for you guys, and then we'll watch it again. So, on the opener here, you're going to see when I decide to get ready here, I'm going to Incarn first, because I want to get the max out of the Tiger's Fury. So, Incarn, then Tiger's Fury, not the other way around. Maybe they're macroable together, but I clicked them both. And then I tried to simulate this like pretty realistic, where you're not right behind the guy. So I lose a couple seconds here to jump behind him. But a lot of the times that's how it's going to work in PvP, is you're going to do it a little bit away and then jump behind them, because you don't want to get spun out of AoE, right? You could argue, let me get behind. What if there's a death and decay on the ground from a DK, etc.? You get it. So then I'm going to jump behind him. First thing I'm going to cast is a Rip. And you can see the Berserk Frenzy talent, and we'll go over the details of it, is right here. It starts ticking right away. And you can see that I use the Sinful Badge. So really quickly again, you want to use Tiger's Fury and Incarn from Stealth, and then a Rake. Once you break Stealth with the Rake, you want to pop your badge, because you can't do it from Stealth. And then out of this Rake, it's very important I show you guys this slowly. Out of the Rake, I used Adaptive Swarm and then a Rip. And you don't wait for 5 combo points on the Rip, because you want all of your damage dots to align and be ticking during your Adaptive Swarm. So you're going to see, now that I've ripped, I'm going to apply a Feral Frenzy. And now, for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds, do you see how they're all very close? I'm getting the maximum damage out of my Adaptive Swarm. So that's the thought process of not waiting, is because I need all my dots on them with the Adaptive Swarm. Now you'll see, I'll let it play for a little bit. Once I have all my dots on them, this is where you start going into the ferocious bite spam, which is you shred to 5 combo points, use 5 combo points, it gives you 2 combo points, and then you shred again. And when you get the shred crits, you always go to 5. When you don't, sometimes it takes an extra shred. So the DPS can vary a little bit. But now that my dots are all on them, it's going to be shred and then ferocious bite. And you'll see there's ferocious bite here. I have my World of Warcraft open. In PvP, when I ferocious bite them, it's going to reduce 5% of their HP for 30 seconds, which is very easy to maintain during our burst window. And then when I do it a second time, you're going to see it's going to do it again. So we're going to reduce the target's health by 10% on top of all our bleeds and on top of our ferocious bite damage. And you're going to notice we're going to start sustaining around 50k DPS for the entire 30 seconds. And Feral is extremely hard to peel. Okay, so that's the entire opener. Super important to kind of understand a little bit of the breakdown. And then after your bleeds have gone, super crazy is your damage is so good with your ferocious bites, and just putting a new rip and a new rake on them, or rake and rip, I'm getting them messed up. So look, we'll let it play for a bit. My dots are starting to fall off. We're at 55k damage over here on our DPS meter. Now what I'm going to start doing is reapplying my rips and reapplying my rakes. Let's figure this out together, YouTube. I can't stop calling each one whatever the opposite is. Rip and rake, okay? Let's get that done. Rake and rip. You keep applying both of these, and during your incarn, you're getting your 125% again from our talent here, Berserk Frenzy. So, now that our Feral Frenzy and Adaptive Swarm burst window is gone, you might think, well, now we don't do anything. But just with this incarn bleed and the rip and the rake, this is your Mortal Strike talent. So we're reducing their healing by 20% because it's 10% each stack. This is their health reduced by 10% in our 3 bleeds. And then our Ferocious Bite spam, watch how we maintain 50k damage anyways. Look at our damage staying at 50k during our incarn. You'll see our incarn's about to fade up here. We hardly dropped to 40k. So I'm going to let that play through once smoothly and then show you guys the damage breakdown, just so we're able to watch it in real time. See where I started here. Okay, check this out. Get ready. This is it, real time. Torpid's going to stop talking. Watch the damage meter, watch the breakdown, feel it in real time. $58k, $57k. Look at, like, we're not even struggling to stay above 50k for the entirety of Incarn. That's 50k damage a second. People don't got that much H pizzles, let me tell you that. So you guys can watch that back as many times as you need to. Alright guys, now we're going to go over quickly the defense of the Druid. And why Druids are so hard to kill, why they can prolong fights for so long, and why their offensive CDs being so short is so strong because they can live to get them back up to use them again. The first thing I want to talk about are the obvious ones. With our build, we have survival instincts. So when a mage is combusting all over you, you're going to want to pop your survival instincts, which is just the flat 50% wall. This is typically needed to mirror their offensive go. Not during the battle, but to mirror their offensive go. The second one on a minute cooldown is our bark skin. Alright, reducing all damage take by 20%. But it also, with our talent tree, protects us for an additional 8k. And right here with Verdant Heart, it increases our healing taken by 20%. So bark skin really giving us additional healing received on top of the defense of the 20% wall, on top of the absorb that bark skin gives us. And then the most prompt is going into bear form and using your frenzied regen. Now, frenzied regen is extremely strong when paired with Ursine Vigor, a very dually spec where when I go into bear form for 4 seconds, I get 20% increased health and armor. So typically you're going into bear form because you're being pressured and you need to heal. The only other time you're in bear form is if you have bleeds or dots on you and the rogue has vanished and he's going to get the reopen on you, then you'll be sitting bear form. But typically you're jumping into bear because they've put some pressure on you and you want to jump away from them while you're frenzied regenning. So, outside of that, little things like Swiftman and Rejuve when used skillfully can be insane. Let's say I'm fighting little Vol with go-to guy here. And what I'm going to do is put my bleeds on him, stun him, and then I can jump away and I can Rejuve into a Swiftman and then get back for the fight. You never want to Rejuve and Swiftman in their face because you're leaving form, you're going to get owned. But when kiting properly to close distance or to move away from them, the Rejuve Swiftman defense is actually extremely strong and it really helps me sustain in a lot of areas. And then last but not least, we have a pairing of Renewal and Well-Owned Instincts. So Well-Owned Instincts, when you drop below 40%, you cast a free 32% frenzied regen in any form. So Rogue opens on you. When he gets you below 40, you start regenning up. You pair that with a Renewal, which is an instant 30% heal. And then this, I want to touch on this, it doesn't always happen, but the majority of times you have a health stone from a Warlock in your team. When you have the ability to stay in cat form, because when you drop below 40, you'll cast a free regen. When you have the ability to then top that with Renewal, and when you have the ability of the health stone, not part of Pharaoh, but typically in the kit, that allows you to turn your offense into your defense because you don't have to leave cat form and can keep sustaining your incarn damage and topping yourself with the Well-Owned, the Hellstone, and the Renewal, which puts them on the back foot. When we don't have Renewal, Well-Owned Instincts, or a Hellstone, when we start taking damage, we have to bear. But now we can say, you know what? You want a piece of the Feral Mains? Come on at us, because we have the sustain. We have the ability to kite away and heal. We have the ability to go bear and become absolute units. And then we have our Barkskin paired with our Survival Instinct. And then there's little tricky defensives as well where you can Shadow Meld and Rake them as a quick stun if you don't have enough common points for maim. And you'll see that in the videos to come or when you come to stream. But that is why Druids are so tanky. So let's see it in action. I could Trinket kill him here, but we're going to wait it out. We're going to wait it out. Ready? Let the bleeds tick. 2 more bleeds. See, the Incarn bleed is just so strong. Look, we're just fiddling with these guys. Fury Warriors, you've seen Vajira, Swifty, they're cranking, they're sustaining, but can they sustain the Feral one-shot Magot? Let's find out. Let's see. Doesn't even look like he wants to fight. Easy. Feral, ready? This is the one-shot. You guys know how these go. We get our bleeds on him. We got our ferocious bite on him. We have the Zerk. It's, see, like the crazy thing is, it's not even close. Like all right, Feral versus Feral. This time we get the jump on this guy. We're putting the ultra mega one shot on this guy. Oh, we could 1v2 this. This is it. This is the easy 1v2. 100k. Hellstone to full. Wall high. Go for the rake stun. Ferocious bite. Renewal. Ferocious bite. He pops wall. We're going to bear Barkskin. Frenzied regen. Top ourselves. Get out of that. Get our bleeds on this guy. Regrowth ourselves out of this. We're going to put a stun on him. A little short one. Come on. We could do this. Ferocious bite. Oh, it's not even close, dude. Oh, a Shadow Freeze. Can we pull this off? Can we pull this off? Gotta get some regrowths. Could be doable. I just kicked an MD. I don't know why. I thought he was just gonna cast like Mind Games, but it was an MD. We stun him on it. He has Mind Games on us. We go bear, do nothing. Mind Games, guys. 2 more seconds. Frenzied Regen out of this to safely top ourselves. Hit a regrowth. Then we go Cat, Shadow Mode, Prowl, Rake Stun, Feral Frenzy, and the Adaptive Swarm. Proc our Trinket. Ferocious Bite, 30k. Pick them on the Mind Blast. Ferocious Bite. Reapply both our bleeds. As you can see, they're expiring. We should just die to bleeds, and that's the 1v3. Come on, come on, come on! Don't tell me you're not excited. Oh my goodness, like it's nothing. No, did we just continue it? Surely we don't just one-shot this guy as well. No, no, so not this guy too. There's no shot. Not Dill. No, don't say it's not so. Oh, and the VG is not looking good for these guys. Alright guys, I wanted to end the video the way it started. Christmas is coming, the holidays are here. The Dragonflight rank season is on the way. I have so many thoughts. It's unbelievable. We didn't talk about the Shadow Melt tech. We didn't talk about the Tiger Fury tech. We didn't talk about the Cancel Macro tech. We didn't cover a lot of things, but we got a good chunk and a good core like I promised you guys. So if you need more tech, more tips, more tricks, or if you learn anything, make sure you come see Torpid and the Never Torpid fam, my community, at twitch.tv/Torpid. Our saying is this: if you want to keep it never torpid, never lazy, never lethargic, in the game and out of the game, you gotta want it, baby. Druids are on the rise, but best of all, Dragonflight in World of Warcraft is in a great state and it's on the rise, and I look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you guys.